Hey guys, it's me Seren, back with another video. Today is our 16th hidden figure, Kelli Hand, who was born September 15th, 1964 and died August 3rd, 2021. Kelli Hand was known professionally as K Hand, and she was a musician and DJ from Detroit, Michigan. One of the first women to release electronic music records in the early days of techno and house, Hand is widely credited with opening the door for Black women's participation in the male-dominated techno and electronic music communities. She was known as the First Lady of Detroit Techno. Born on September 15th, 1964, and raised in Detroit, Hand moved to New York in the 1980s, where she immersed herself in the club scene. She was deeply influenced by her years spent clubbing at Paradise Garage, listening and dancing to the music of legendary house DJ Larry Levan. Falling in love with electronic music, she purchased her own equipment, including turntables, a keyboard, and an Atari, all picked up at pawn shops, and taught herself to produce and DJ in her bedroom. Hand built a sizable vinyl collection by buying all the records played at Garage and spinning them at home. She also frequented clubs in Chicago as well, meeting legendary producer Frankie Knuckles, the godfather of house music. She began to play at local clubs, receiving a residency at Detroit's Zippers nightclub, where she picked the DJ name K Hand so as to keep her gender anonymous. In 1990, Hand began spinning her own releases at clubs and founded her own label named, I think this is Acacia. I know Acacia, I think it's like a fruit, ACIA. I think it's Acacia. You guys can correct me. Records, after a Detroit street she had previously lived on. Her debut release was an EP, Think About It, and in 1995, her debut studio album, On a Journey, was released. By the year 2000, she had released 7 more albums. As one of Detroit's most prolific artists, Hand is responsible for hundreds of high-impact club records. A vinyl enthusiast as well because of its warm and analog sound, Hand's imprint continues to release new vinyl records as well as re-releases of her back catalog. Despite her Detroit background, Hand incorporated many Chicago and New York musical influences, such as a more upfront rhythmic style versus the smoother house sound of many of her fellow Detroit producers. She frequently utilized the large-scale jack and swing sounds distinctive to Chicago house in her music. Her sound came to be known as the K-Hand sound and is very popular among techno DJs to this day. In 2016, Kelli Hand was honored with a Spirit of Detroit Award. The Spirit of Detroit Award is presented to individuals or groups for outstanding achievement or service to the citizens of Detroit from Detroit City Council. In 2017, she was officially named the First Lady of Detroit Techno by the City Council, honored with a testimonial resolution certificate acknowledging her substantial accomplishments in the industry of electronic music. Hand died at her home in Detroit on August 3rd, 2021, from cardiovascular disease at the age of 56. And I have a couple of quotes here that I want to read to you guys. The first one being, "When I started, there were no cell phones, no computers," Hand told Metro Times in 2015. "We were using the caveman style back then. Now, everything is so convenient. Computers are supposed to solve problems, so it's a lot more easier to get things done, although we have to watch out for crashes now. It's amazing how the industry has grown and continues to grow. It's not going anywhere at all." I like that quote. And she didn't give interviews very often, so in another rare interview, she was asked about the swing sound that she liked to use. And this was an excerpt from that interview. "Speaking of rhythm, your tracks swing a lot. Why did this become so important to your sound?" And she answered, "It's just part of who I am, I guess. I like to have that swing. I don't know where it comes from. It's just natural. For me, house has got to have swing." And I love that quote for a couple of reasons. As you guys know, I'm from Washington, D.C., so I grew up listening to a lot of Baltimore house music. Baltimore house, Chicago house. So I agree with like that swing. And I also grew up listening to go-go. A lot of you guys know this. I've done several highlights on Instagram about go-go that you can feel free to check out if you haven't seen any of them. And to this day, I like my music to knock. I like music that like has a knock, that has a certain amount of percussion. In a lot of my reviews of albums, you guys might have heard me say like, it's just something about the song, like this shit just knock. Like I like my music to have some knock, which I'm sure comes from growing up in DC and growing up listening to go-go, music that knocks, that has a lot of percussion. And so I just really, really love that quote because for me, it just encapsulated a lot of how, these sounds and these musics are a part of who we are. Even though, house music and techno music and electronic music has really been stripped away from the Black Americans that invented it and whitewashed, as so many other things have been. But I just had to do this hidden figure on Kelli Hand, DJ K Hand, a hidden figure. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this one. There will be links and information and also links to her interviews and some of her stuff in the description box if you guys want to check it out. Food for thought as always. See you guys next time with another hidden figure. Peace.